Hello my dear students, in this video now I want to discuss about the carbon ion. In the previous videos we have learned about the carbocations. Now we are going for the another reaction intermediate, that is the carbon ion. So first of all we study about the characteristics of the carbon ions. Okay na? So among this, first point is that alkyl carbon ion has 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. Thus hybridization is sp3 and geometry is pyramidal. Carbon ions are of different types that we know very well. So first of all here we discuss about the alkyl carbon ions. Okay. In alkyl carbon ions, hybridization of the carbon which bears negative charge is S, sp1, this is S and this is sp1 and this is sp2 and this is sp3. That means here this carbon which bears negative charge has sp3 hybridization and it also has 1 lone pair. So it has 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. So that's why here it has the pyramid shape. Here this is very much similar to that of the ammonia. In ammonia also what is that? Nitrogen has 3 bonds with the 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 lone pair. Okay na? So in this one, in ammonia, hybridization is S, sp1, sp2 and sp3. So in ammonia, hybridization of nitrogen is sp3 and in ammonia 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair is there. So shape of ammonia molecule is pyramid shape. In that similar way, carbon ion also has the pyramid shape. We go for the second point. There are 8 electrons in the outermost orbit of the carbon ionic carbon, hence octet is complete. So carbon ion carbon has 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So its valency is octet rule is completely filled. Okay, so it has completely filled octet. Next we go for the third point, that it behaves as a charged nucleophile. We know very well the nucleophile means a reagent or active species that has attraction over the positive charge. No? So here as carbon ion is having negative charge on it, it definitely acts as a nucleophile. And we know very well that the nucleophiles are Lewis bases. So here carbon ion is also a Lewis base. Okay na? So here it is a charged nucleophile, that we have to remember. And fourth point is that carbon ion is diamagnetic in character because all 8 electrons are paired. So in carbon ion unpaired electrons are not present. So that's why here carbon ions are diamagnetic in nature. Fifth point is that it is formed by heterolytic bond fission. Already we have discussed in the carbocations that in the homolytic bond fission we get the free radicals. Homolytic fission means bond breaking, a type of bond breaking in which 2 bonded atoms pair the bond electron pairs equally is known as the, if this bond is broken equally and the electrons are shared between the 2 bonded atoms equally, then we call it as the homolytic cleavage. But if the bond breaks unevenly and the electron pair goes to only one atom, Then we get the cation and anions, and such type of bond breaking is known as the heterolytic bond fission. So we get the carbocations and carbon ions due to the heterolytic bond fission. So here carbon ions are obtained due to the heterolytic bond fission, and it reacts with the electrophiles as it acts as a nucleophile. Definitely it reacts with the electrophile, whether that electrophile is a positively charged electrophile or neutral electrophile. Okay. uh, Look here, even though we have learned that alkyl carbon ion has the pyramidal shape, some exception cases are there. Here, in a benzyl carbon ion and in allyl carbon ion, and in allyl carbon ion, the carbon which is having negative charge shows the sp2 hybridization, and that lone the electron pair present in the pure p orbital of the carbon. So if it then only the resonance is possible for that carbon with the other carbons of the allyl and the benzyl carbon ions. If it is goes sp3 hybridization, then there will be no chance for the resonance. So that's why in benzyl carbon ion and in allyl carbon ion, the hybridization of the negatively charged carbon, or that means carbon ionic carbon, is sp2 hybridization, and this is the special point we have to remember. So that's why as the hybridization is sp2, the carbon the structure around the carbon ionic carbon is a planar triangle, or benzyl and allyl carbon ions have the planar triangle structure. That we have to remember. And now we discuss about the stability of the carbon ions. Here, stability of the carbon ions depends on mainly three factors. First one is the electronegativity of the carbon ionic carbon. Second one is the inductive effect of the alkyl groups. Third one is the delocalization or resonance. Now we go for the discussion about the electronegativity. Here we have to remember that stability of carbon ions depend on directly proportional to, look here, directly proportional to the electronegativity of the carbon ionic carbon. And the electronegativity of the carbon ionic carbon increases with the increase in the percentage of the carbon ion S character, increase in the percentage of S character of carbon ionic carbon. That means stability of carbon ionic carbon is directly proportional to the S percentage of S character in the carbon ionic carbon. And the percentage of S character depends on the hybridization. In the sp3 hybridization, the percentage of S orbital is only 25%, because in sp3 hybridization 1 S orbital and 3 p orbitals involves, no? So percentage of S character can be calculated like this: 1/4 into 100. So it becomes 25. And percentage of the p orbital is 75. Yes. And the percentage of s orbital in sp2 hybridization is we can calculate like this. Look at, so what is that percentage of s character in sp2 hybridization is equal to the 1 by 3. Total number of orbital is 3, so that's why here we write 3 into 100. 100 by 3, that means the percentage of s character in the sp2 hybridization is 33.33 percentage. Okay na? In the similar way, we can calculate the percentage of s orbital in the sp hybridization. So here the hybridization of s orbital in a sp hybridization is 1 by total number of s orbital is 1 only, and total number of s orbital is total orbitals is 2 into 100. That means it becomes 50 percentage. Okay na? So now we know the percentage of orbitals, okay, s orbital in these hybridizations. In sp3 hybridization, percentage of s orbital is 25, and in sp2 hybridization it is 33.3, and in sp hybridization percentage of s orbital is 50 percentage. So here the percentage of s character in the sp hybrid orbitals is very high. So as the percentage of s orbital increases, electronegativity increases. This is why, because we know very well that s orbital has spherical shape. As a result, it penetrates towards to the nucleus, and it goes very close to the nucleus compared to the other orbitals. As it goes near to the nucleus, its electronegativity increases. So that's why when the percentage of s orbital increases, electronegativity also increases. As a result, what happens? And look here, when the negative charge goes near to the nucleus, it will be stabilized. So as a result, what happens? As the increase in the percentage of s character, stability also increases. So here, compared to the alkyl carbon ions, vinyl carbon ions have more stability. Vinyl carbon ions have more stability. And compared to the vinyl, ethynyl carbon ions have still greater stability. Okay, so this is the stability increasing order. Now we go for the inductive effect. Discussion about the inductive effect on the stability of the carbon ions. Here, stability of the carbon ions is indirectly proportional to the plus psi power of the group, alkyl groups, plus psi power of the group. It may be alkyl or any other group. And stability of the carbon ions is directly proportional to the minus I power of the group. So stability increases with the increase in the minus I power of the other groups which are attached to it, and stability decreases with the increase in the plus I groups of the plus I power of the other groups attached to it. Okay now? And we know very well that alkyl group is a plus I group. Alkyl group is a plus I group. And in the carbon ion, stability decreases with the increase in the plus I power. No? So that means when the number of the alkyl groups increase, plus I power increases. As a result, stability decreases. Look here, in the methyl carbon ion, only this carbon is attached to the only 3 hydrogen atoms, whereas in this primary alkyl carbon ion, this is primary alkyl carbon ion, and this is secondary alkyl carbon ion, and this is tertiary alkyl carbon ion. So secondary and this is tertiary. In the secondary alkyl carbon ions, 2 alkyl groups are there. In the tertiary alkyl group, 3 alkyl groups are there. And alkyl groups push the electron pair towards to the carbon ionic carbon. So as a result, what happens, due to the presence of the alkyl groups, the charge density increases on the carbon ionic carbon. As a result, the charge density is very high in the tertiary carbon ions than compared to the other alkyl carbon ion. So as a result, stability decreases from methyl carbon ions to the tertiary alkyl carbon ions. So this is the stability decreasing order and plus I power increasing order. Plus I power increasing order or stability decreasing order. Okay. Next we go for the groups which shows the minus I inductive effect. So here, in order to know the minus I effect, halogens are taken here. What are halogens? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine are alkyl halides. Okay, na? So we know very well that when we move from top to bottom in a group, electronegativity decreases. As a result, minus I effect also decreases. Even though halogens are good non-metals and they are strong electronegative elements, but from fluorine to the iodine, electronegativity decreases. As a result, their inductive effect also decreases. Okay, now. So iodine is a weak minus I effect group than the bromine. Bromine is a weak inductive effect than the weak group than the chlorine. Chlorine is a weak inductive group, minus inductive group than the fluorine. So here inductive minus I power increases from iodine to the fluorine. So as a result, so when the minus I power increases, the electron density on the carbon ionic carbon decreases. The minus I groups remove or decrease the negative charge on the carbon ionic carbon. That means they share the carbon negative charge. As a result, the stability of those carbon ionic carbons in which they are attached to halogens is greater than compared to the simple alkyl carbon ions. And among the haloalkyl carbon ions, fluoromethyl carbon ion is more stable than the other type of the halocarbon ions. Okay. Now we go for the delocalization or resonance effect on the stability of the carbon ions. We know very well that when the number of the resonance structures increase, then the burden on the carbon which bears the charge, it may be positive or negative charge, decreases. As a result, stability also increases. That means as the number of the resonance structures increase, stability also increase. Due to this reason, the benzyl carbon ions, look at this, benzyl carbon ion is more stable than the allyl carbon ion, because in allyl carbon ion only 2 resonance structures are possible, whereas in benzyl carbon ions, benzyl, otherwise we can call it as the phenyl methyl carbon ion. So in this phenyl methyl carbon ion or in the benzyl carbon ion, 4 resonance structures are possible. So that's why Benzyl carbon ion is more stable than the Al carbon ion. In the similar way, this is diphenyl methyl carbon ion and this is triphenyl methyl carbon ion. In a diphenyl methyl carbon ion, 7 resonance structures are possible, and for the triphenyl methyl carbon ions 10 resonance structures are possible. So compared to the benzyl carbon ions, diphenyl methyl carbon ions are more stable, and compared to the diphenyl methyl carbon ions, triphenyl methyl carbon ions are still more stable. So as a result, what happens, we can say that stability increases from allyl to the from allyl to the triphenyl methyl carbon ions. Okay. Now we go for the fourth point related to the stability of the carbon ions, that is the stabilization by sulfur and phosphorus. Attachment of carbon ionic carbon to a sulfur or a phosphorus atom causes an increase in the carbon ion stability. So when sulfur or phosphorus is present adjacent to the carbon atom, carbon ionic carbon, here I have written sulfur beside the adjacent to the carbon ionic carbon, and now I am writing phosphorus atom in the adjacent position to the carbon ionic carbon. So that means the presence of the sulfur or phosphorus atoms adjacent to the carbon ionic carbons increase the stability. Why it increases, let us know. The cause of stability is due to the delocalization of negative charge of carbon ion by vacant d orbitals. Yes, we know very well that phosphorus belongs to the fifth group and it lies below the nitrogen, and sulfur belongs to the sixth group and it lies below the sulfur. And we know very well that atomic number of the phosphorus is 15. And electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2. I write with other color because it is not so visible. Okay, yes, right. Atomic number is 15 and electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3 and 3d empty is there. In the phosphorus empty d orbital, look here, I have written the electron configuration in order to show that phosphorus atoms contain d orbitals in them. Okay, and we know well the sulfur electron configuration atomic number is 16 and the electron configuration becomes as 3s2, 3p4 and 3d empty. That means sulfur atoms also have the 3d orbitals, d orbitals. Phosphorus atoms as well as the sulfur atoms have the empty d orbitals in them. So as a result, what happens, they can accommodate the electron pair of the carbon ionic carbon, and they can form p5d5 bond with the carbon ionic carbon. So that's why such type of the carbon ions are stable compared to the other type of the carbon ions. Okay, here in this slide we can see what is it, two examples for the carbon ions that contain sulfur and phosphorus atom adjacent to it. Okay, na? Look here, this is methyl sulfonyl methanide. Okay, na? So the molecular form of this one can be called as dimethyl thioether. Look here. So we can call it as dimethyl thioether, and its anionic form is this one, and its name is methyl sulfonyl methanide. This is methanide. This is methyl sulfonyl. methyl sulfonyl methanide, methyl sulfonyl methanide, and this is methyl phosphenyl, methyl phosphenyl methanide. So methyl phosphenyl methanide, methyl sulfonyl methanide, methyl sulfonyl methanide and methyl phosphenyl methanide are examples for the carbon ions that have the sulfur and phosphorus adjacent to that carbon ion. Now we go over the another point related to the stability of the carbon ions, that stabilization of the carbon ion which lies adjacent to the carbonyl, nitro and cyano groups. Carbonyl group, nitro group and cyano. Carbonyl group means we know very well that aldehydes and ketones are known as the carbonyl groups. Aldehydes, look here, aldehydes and ketones are known as the carbonyl groups. Nitro groups means NO2 group, cyano groups means cyanide groups. Okay na? So the presence of this nitro group, cyanide group and carbonyl group stabilize the carbon ions. So presence of this one facilitates the hydroxide ion, negative ions to abstract the CH bonds. So that's why the alpha hydrogens which are present adjacent to the nitro group, cyanide group and carbonyl group are known as the acidic hydrogens. Okay now, for example, look here, this is nitromethane, so this is alpha carbon. So these alpha hydrogens are known as the acidic hydrogen. In the similar way, CH3C, methyl cyanide. So here these three hydrogens are known as acidic hydrogens, and these hydrogens can be easily abstracted with bases, strong bases. Okay now. So look here, this is nitromethanide, obtained from the nitromethane. So nitromethanide is obtained from nitromethane. And look here in this nitromethanide resonance is possible. Okay na? So look at, this is the second resonance structure of the nitromethanide, and this structure is known as the enoxidomethanimine oxide. Here this structure 2 is more stable than the structure 1, nitromethanide. Why? Because in the structure 2, negative charge is present on the more electronegative atoms. More electronegative atoms bear this negative charge. As a result, the structure 2 is more stable than the structure 1. Because in the structure 1, negative charge is present on the less electronegative carbon atom. So that's why structure 1 is less stable. That means predominantly this carbon ion exists as the second, exists in the second form. Now we go for another example which is obtained from the acetone. So when one hydrogen is alpha hydrogen is abstracted from the acetone, we get the what is that, 2-oxopropane 1-ide, 2-oxopropane 1-ide. This is obtained from acetone or methanol, propanone. Okay. And its resonance structure is this one, propane pro 1-in-2-olate. Compared to the 1, 2 is more stable, because in the structure 1, negative charge is present on the carbon which is less electronegative, and in the structure 2, negative charge is present on the more electronegative oxygen atom. So that's why structure 2 is more stable than the structure 1. So that means the carbon ions which are adjacent to the nitro group, cyanide group and carbonyl group are more stable. Now we go for the another point related to the stability of the carbon ions. Okay, that is that stability of the aromatic carbon ions. Stability of the aromatic carbon ions are very stable. Otherwise, we can say that they are the most stable carbon ions. Aromatic carbon ions are the most stable carbon ions among all the possible carbon ions. And why? Because here the electron pair of this negative charge is in the resonance. Okay, na? As a result, what happens? Negative charge is not present particularly on one carbon. As a result, they are very stable. And we know very well that a compound is known to be aromatic compound when it follows the Huckel rule. So, for aromatic compound, for a compound to be an aromatic, it has to follow Huckel rule. Under Huckel rule, first condition is that it should possess planar structure P, and secondly, it should possess cyclic structure. Thirdly, it should be in the conjugation. And already we have learned in the previous videos what is meant by conjugation. So, and it should contain 4n plus 2 5 electrons. 4n plus 2 5 electrons. Okay, now 4n plus 2 5 electrons. So, these conditions, if satisfied, then that species is known as the aromatic compound. And look here, if the negative charge is present on the carbon of the aromatic carbon, then we call it as the aromatic carbon ion. Here we have in this slide two such examples. First one is the cyclopentadienyl carbon ion. Cyclopentadienyl carbon ion. It can be obtained from the cyclopentane, cyclopentadiene. We can obtain it from the cyclopentadiene. When cyclopentadiene is treated with the base, we get the cyclopentadienyl. Yl means one hydrogen less, so it is cyclopentadienyl anion. And this is a cycloocta tetraenyl dianion. Look here, it has 8 carbon atoms in the structure, so that's why it is known as cycloocta. And 4 double bonds are there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why it is known as tetra. And it loses 2 hydrogen atoms, so that's why it is known as yl. Yl indicates the abstraction of the hydrogen atoms. And it is dianion. It has 2 negative charges, so that's why it is known as dianion. So these are 2 best examples for the aromatic carbon ions. Now, up to now, we have discussed about the different types of the carbon ions, and if you put all those carbon ions at one place, then we get this type of order. So look here, among all carbon ions, among all types of carbon ions, aromatic carbon ions are the most stable carbon ions. Then after comes benzyl carbon ions. Under benzyl carbon ions, we have the simple benzyl carbon ions, that means phenyl methyl carbon ions. Otherwise benzyl carbon ions. And diphenyl methyl carbon ions. And we also have the triphenyl methyl carbon ions. So like that, under benzyl carbon ions, we have the 3 types. Phenyl methyl carbon ion. What is that? Diphenyl methyl carbon ion and triphenyl methyl carbon ions. Then after comes allyl carbon ion. Allyl carbon ion. After that, it comes ethynyl or estenyl carbon ions. After that, we get the phenyl carbon ions, and on the last is there alkyl carbon ion. Alkyl carbon ions. And among the alkyl carbon ions, tertiary carbon ions are least stable carbon ions, and the methyl carbon ion is the most stable carbon ions among the alkyl carbon ions. But among all the carbon ions, aromatic carbon ions are very stable carbon ions. Now we go for the some reactions in which we find the formation of the carbon ions. First one is the aldol condensation. In aldol condensation, what happens? Aldehydes and ketones which have alpha hydrogens undergo condensation and form aldols or ketones. Then after on heating, they give the unsaturated aldehydes and unsaturated ketones. Okay now. So already we have learned that the carbonyl group presence makes the alpha hydrogens acidic. So look here. Here, this is alpha carbon to the look here. Actually, this is what is that acetaldehyde, and this is alpha carbon to this aldehyde group, and it is acidic in nature because it is adjacent to the carbonyl group. So when hydroxy groups attacks on this one, this hydrogen easily removed from that carbon, and we get the carbon ion. Okay now. And due to resonance, this carbon ion is stable. In the previous slides we have taken this example. Okay now? So now this carbon ion attacks on the another acetaldehyde molecule. So like that we get the condensed product. Okay now? So this is a condensed product, and it is known as the aldol. So in aldol condensation, formation of the carbon ion is formed. So here carbon ion intermediate is formed. The similar way we get the carbon ion intermediate in the Perkins reaction also. In Perkins reaction, what happens? Benzaldehyde or aromatic aldehydes are treated with the acidic anhydrides. Aromatic aldehydes are treated with the acidic anhydrides in the presence of the salts. For example, here we take the acetic acid anhydride, so we take the corresponding salt only. That means here we take the sodium acetate. Okay na? So aromatic aldehydes and anhydrides, acidic anhydrides in the presence of the acidic salts. Okay na? So here condensation takes place, and we get this product. What is that? Unsaturated carboxylic acids, ARCH double bond CHCOH. But anyhow, we are not going in the deep discussion about this Perkin reaction. Just here we have to note that in this reaction carbon ions are formed. That's it. Okay now? Okay. So but anyhow, in the Perkins reaction, from the aromatic aldehydes we get the aromatic unsaturated carboxylic acids. Aromatic unsaturated carboxylic acid. For example, from the benzaldehyde we get the cinnamic acid. From the benzaldehyde we get the cinnamic acid. But anyhow, here what happens means the we get the carbon ions. Okay now? So look here. Here directly formation of the carbon ion is not shown here, but look here, this hydrogen will be abstracted due to this base. As a result, we get the what is that? carbon ion here, and it undergoes resonance. As a result, we get this enolate ion. Okay, na? So this is due to the formation of the carbon ion only, but actually we have to show that one. Okay, na? So but anyhow, we have to know that in the Perkins reaction also we will get the carbon ions. And the third reaction is the reformer-Teskey reaction. Here the name is written in a wrong manner. Look here, we have to recorrect that one. Oh shit, undo. Okay, right. Right. Look here, my dear. In reformer, this is a reformer-Teskey reaction. Reformer-Teskey. In reformer-Teskey reaction, what happens? Alpha haloesters. Look here, this is alpha haloesters. Alpha haloesters. React with the aldehydes and ketones in the presence of the zinc and form beta haloesters. The end product is here. Look here, sorry, beta hydroxyesters. In the reformer reaction, at the end we get the beta hydroxyester. So from alpha haloester to the from the alpha haloesters we get the beta hydroxyester. Okay, so in this reaction we make use of the zinc metal. So in this reaction also we get the carbon ions. Okay. And we go for the fourth reaction, that is the Claisen condensation. In Claisen condensation, what happens? Claisen condensation nothing but condensation of the esters. So this also takes place. So two ester molecules condense to give the condensed product. Okay, na? So here look here, this ethoxide. So here this condensation is carried out in the presence of the alkoxide ions. For example, here ethyl acetate. From ethyl acetate we get the ethyl acetoacetate. So here this reaction is carried out in the presence of alkoxide ions. So these alkoxides and strong bases, they abstract the hydrogens from the carbon which is adjacent to the carbonyl group of the ester. As a result we get the carbon ion here. So here we can, in this slide we can see the formation of the carbon ions. Clearly. Okay, na? So this carbon ion can be stabilized to the formation of the enolate ion, but anyhow here we get the carbon ions. So Claisen condensation reaction also proceeds through the carbon ion. And Wittig reaction also. In the Wittig reaction also carbon ions are formed. In Wittig reaction what happens? What is that? Carbonyl compounds form alkenes. And here we take help of the phosphorus compounds. Okay, na? So here in this reaction also look here, we get the negative charge on the carbon. Okay, na? This type of negative charge is known as the ylide. So in the Wittig reaction we get the ylide. Okay, na? So in the Wittig reaction we get alkenes from the carbonyl compounds. From carbonyl compounds we get the alkenes. So that is Wittig reaction. Okay, so these are some examples for the reactions in which carbon ions are formed. Thank you for watching.